Hello, beautiful people. Hope everybody's had a good week. I just want to say thank you guys for paying attention, listening, watching, shooting me messages, phone calls. I really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much. Just really glad this is able to help you in any kind of way. So I'm grateful for the feedback. Thank you guys very much. I have been in a mood this week and most of today, so we will see how this goes. If it gets ugly or gets sideways, I'll probably not post this, but we'll see how it goes. I want to start off by saying that this is free advice, so take it or leave it. It is worth what you paid for it. So this may be of no value to you whatsoever. This is just my viewpoint, my perspective on life and things that are happening around me. So like I said, it's free advice. I'm not a very bright guy, so if you don't find any value in this, I totally cool, totally understand it. If I'm a moron, you can reach out to me, let me know I'm a moron. I think most of you probably heard of a guy by the name of George Carlin. He's a comedian, and he had some bit where he said, just imagine or just think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize that half of them are stupider than that. So I consider myself of below average intelligence, so I am in the group of stupid people at the bottom. So listening to me or taking my advice may not be good for you in your life. So like I said, this is free. It's worth what you paid for it. Don't take it too serious, but this is just sort of things that are going on in my universe that I want to share with you. So take it or leave it, but it's free, okay? Something that's been, for whatever reason, happening around me or near me recently that has just struck a nerve is I see a lot of people saying or using a phrase that is just hitting a nerve with me. And again, I don't know why. And I think I can try to explain why, but whether or not it's going to make any sense, I don't know. But this overused expression or idiom that people use, that the phrase or the idiom is cost an arm and a leg. You know, such and such service that costs an arm and a leg. So I tried to do some homework on this because I'm trying to figure out, like, where did this come from? Why do people say this? What does this actually mean? Because I know when we adopt language as time evolves, certain things take on different meanings that they used to mean. So I did a little homework and found out a couple of things that I'm not certain of where this expression comes from, but a couple of theories are, way back when somebody had their portrait painted, the artist would charge based on the size of the portrait. So for instance, if you just got a headshot painted, it had a price attached to it. And then if you got it to your waist, which includes your arms, the price was higher. And then if you got a full body portrait type thing, it was even more. So the phrase possibly came from the artist charging an arm and a leg, such and such, okay? So there's not a lot of basis as to whether or not that's true, but there is some historical evidence that the phrase actually originated around the time of World War II, when soldiers were coming back from war and they were literally missing limbs. They were missing an arm or missing a leg. And the expression came to be because the cost of war was so high that it cost somebody an arm, it cost somebody a leg. Like the literal losing of a limb due to, warfare, like an extreme price, like the highest possible price short of death, is being crippled for life by losing an arm or leg. So when I think about that expression and where it most likely originated, it actually makes me more frustrated or furious that people use this expression today. Like, and again, I understand times evolve, things have changed, and we adopt language, and language, evolves over time, and it doesn't necessarily mean today what it meant, 80 years ago. But the reality is that when you say something costs an arm and a leg, man, it's kind of despicable to think that you're comparing your life and your circumstances and your situation to a soldier that lost a limb at war. Like, the sacrifice that they made, you're comparing, I see all the time is people asking for something that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And when I say things like that, they say, oh, I'm looking for somebody to mow my lawn that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I'm looking for an oil change that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I'm looking for a plumber that doesn't charge an arm and a leg. I'm looking for, XYZ, just fill in the blank. It's just, I'm looking for car insurance that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I'm looking for somebody to fix my tire that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I mean, just fill in the blank. And you've probably said it again. I've said it, so I'm not innocent here. I'm just trying to put this into perspective that people will say this expression for anything, for anything. I'm looking for XYZ, fill in the blank, that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. When in reality, those things that they're asking for have never cost an arm and a leg. And it's actually ridiculous to even make the claim or to state that this thing, whatever it is, somebody mow your lawn that costs an arm and a leg. Like, that's absurd. That's ridiculous, you know? The reality is that these things, these services that we want to say this goofy expression to, I'm looking for somebody to mow my lawn that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. It has not ever cost an arm or a leg. And it's ridiculous to even put those two things in the same category. It costs what it costs to get your lawn mowed. It costs what it costs to get your oil changed. It costs what it costs to get auto insurance. Like, these circumstances are what they are. And it's bizarre to me that people will, in a way, like, beg for something cheap or for free, and it makes no sense. Like, I'm looking for a dentist that doesn't charge an arm and a leg. Like, me personally, I want to find the dentist that can do the job. I want to find somebody that can do it right. Like, I don't want to have some inexperienced goon that says they can, do dental work at their house in their kitchen for cheap. Like, that's crazy. Oh, this guy doesn't charge an arm and a leg, but you can get dental work done in his living room. Like, what? Like, it's so bizarre. And another way to look at this is, again, like I said, these services have never cost an arm and a leg. And it's bizarre to even to make that comparison. These are like everyday things that we all have to deal with. And when I say that, what comes to mind is, like, say, for instance, if anybody's into sports, like an athlete, like a quarterback for a football team, after the game, let's just say his team gets absolutely smoked and he has a terrible day. He goes 7 for 18 passing, 2 picks, 2 fumbles, and they just get annihilated. Don't put any points on the board. They just get completely smoked, okay? If after the game, the media is interviewing this quarterback, and let's say the team is the Miami Dolphins or something, and they played at the New York Jets. And in the post-game interview, the quarterback's like, yeah, it was cold out there today. It was rainy. It was wet. The ball was wet. We're used to playing in warmer weather in Miami. It's cold up here. It's windy. It's rainy. The crowd was really loud. This is a road game. We just didn't play my best ball today because of all these circumstances. I can tell you one thing. That dude's going to get ripped. I mean, he's going to get ripped by his coach, by his teammates, by the media, because it's the same for everybody. Everybody that was in that game had to deal with those exact same circumstances. It was cold for everybody. It was rainy for everybody. The ball was wet for everybody. And he's pointing the finger and pointing the blame instead of accepting responsibility. And he's going to get roasted for it. So why don't we do that equally in society when people are basically begging for something for free because they don't want to pay the fees that the rest of us are paying? The rest of us have to pay to get our lawn mowed. The rest of us have to pay for auto insurance. The rest of us have to pay for dental work and roofers and plumbers and electricians and auto repair. Like, it costs what it costs. Nobody's getting any freebies out here. So why do these people get a free pass? Because they want something that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Yeah, things are expensive. Yeah, they cost money. And the reality is, it's good news that they only cost money. Like, how convenient is it for us living in this day and age, which, first of all, it's never been easier to be alive. It's never been easier to exist in the history of the planet, in the history of man. It's never been easier. And people complain that it's not easier, that it's not simple. Like, how much easier do you want it to be? How much simpler could it possibly be that most of your problems, half of your problems, can be solved with money? Like, that's it. Your half of your problems can be solved with money. Like, that problem's solvable. Make more money. Like, you can solve that problem. But instead of solving the problem and making more money so you can pay for the services that we're all paying for, you want the shortcut. You want the easy route. You want the service for less than what everybody else is having to pay to get it. And it's bizarre to me. It's so bizarre that half of your problems can be solved with money. The blueprint to get the money is out there, and you won't go make the money to stop being a whiny SOB. Like, it's just bizarre to me. Like, it's never been easier to. And another thing about it being so easy to exist and so easy to be alive is that it's so easy to exist, and all these things that these people are complaining about are so easy to obtain. Billions of people across the planet have this, whatever this obstacle is that's keeping this person down. Billions of people have this. They have this. They do this. Like, people pay to get their lawn mowed. People pay to get their car fixed. People pay plumbers and electricians and mechanics. Like, they just pay it because that's what billions of people do. And the fact that it's never been easier, the reason why we hear these complaints about it costing an arm and a leg is because people have time to complain. For centuries, millennia, people didn't have time to complain about their circumstances. They were literally fighting for survival every single day. They were running from lions. They were hiding from bears. They were hunting for food all day so they could eat. They were foraging for food, like trying not to get killed. They were literally so busy surviving that you couldn't complain. There weren't people sitting around teepees, 500 years ago, like, oh, golly, I wish I could get a sheepskin that didn't cost an arm and a leg. Like, it's bizarre that we have it so good that our biggest complaint is things cost an arm and a leg. I mean, sorry, like, that's the reality that we all live in. And the fact that it's so easy to have or to get in this day and age, like, you're literally drawing like only sympathy from people in your crowd because everybody else doesn't feel bad for you. Nobody feels sorry for you that you're broke. Like, and maybe that's cold of me, maybe that's insensitive of me, whatever it is, but maybe you need a wake-up call. Like, here I'll give you an example of a wake-up call that happened for me. I used to be one of these people that was like, why me? Why am I poor? Why am I broke? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? Why does so-and-so have it easy? Why does so-and-so have it good? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, poor me, whatever. I went on a road trip. I may have already told you this story, but I went on a road trip several years ago, and a buddy of mine and I, we were driving through Colorado, just driving. And I started to notice that there were all these houses, huge, beautiful houses on the mountains, in the mountains, not necessarily at resorts, not like mountain resorts, ski resorts. I mean, just everyday people's houses all throughout Colorado on this road trip. And I just kept looking out the windows or driving. I'm like, man, there's another one. And I'm not talking about one every several miles. I'm talking about house after house after house after house. And then I started thinking, my whole life I've been like, oh, poor me, why me, pitiful me, whatever. But I started thinking of it the other way. I started thinking, why not me? Why can't I have that house or that one or that one or that one or that one? And who are these people that have these houses? These aren't the rich and famous that we hold on a pedestal. These are not homes of athletes that we hold on a pedestal. These are not musicians that we glorify on social media and in public. Like, these are just everyday people. These are just regular people with regular jobs. What are they doing that I'm not doing? What have they done up until this point in their life that led them there? They didn't get that house by accident. They didn't just stumble on this house and move in. Like, there were steps that they had to take to get to this point. And this is probably not even a big deal to them. This is their life. This is just the house that they own. They just happen to live here. But what did they do to get here? They didn't fall out of the sky and land on that house. What steps did they take? And I started asking myself, what do I have to do to get a house like that? What do I have to change to get a house like that? What do I have to stop doing? What do I have to start doing to make that house obtainable to me? And I'm kind of rambling at this point, but it came with the realization that it's not, oh, poor me, oh, pitiful me, is that there's a guy, his name is Zig Ziglar. He says that there's plenty of room at the top. And there's plenty of room at the top. There is not a limit on what you can and cannot do and where you can and cannot go. It's limitless. The amount of money you can make is limitless. Nobody is stopping you. Nothing is in your way. You can own whatever house on this planet you want to own. It can be yours. Whatever car you want to own, whatever clothes you want to own, wherever you want to live, like, that's all obtainable. These are just things. This is just stuff. It's only money. And I know that sounds bizarre because I'm saying, oh, it's only money, but the blueprint's out there. If it's been done, it can be recreated. How do you think these people obtain these things? do exactly what they did. You'll get the exact same result. And it's bizarre to think otherwise. So, like I said, I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but it's just been a frustrating thing that's on my radar. So like I said, that was my wake-up call, and I hope for you that you have a wake-up call that realize that life is not happening to you. These aren't just circumstances that are just happening to you and poor you and pitiful you. Like, I'll give you another example. I have a friend, and he, bought his daughter a car, and I think we were having lunch or something one day, or he was in the office. I don't remember now, but he takes a call from his daughter. She's younger. She's 20 or whatever, but she's driving this car. He gets a call from her, and she's on the other end. She's bawling. She's crying, and she's she's like, I got in a wreck, and she's crying, and her car's messed up, and blah blah. And he's trying to calm her down. Hey, it's gonna be okay. Is everybody all right? Of course, everybody's okay. And he asks her what happened, and she sends him pictures or whatever, and she tells him what happened, and he's like, she said she was in an accident. I'm sorry, I'm telling the story wrong. But she's like, oh, I was in an accident, yada, yada, yada. So he looks at the pictures, and he's got her on the phone. He's like, you weren't in an accident. You caused a wreck. You hit somebody. Like, that's not the same thing. Being in an accident and causing a wreck, not the same thing. Like, people will put the blame anywhere they possibly can. Oh, I got a speeding ticket from this cop. Like, no, you earned that speeding ticket because you were speeding. Like, not the same thing. And how you talk about things and how you perceive things matters. These things matter. So when your perception is that everything costs an arm and a leg, that's on you. That's your perception. That's not reality. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Circumstances are the same for everybody. And you know what? Some people struggle with paying those things. That's true. That's a reality. Some people are struggling. We get it. But everybody's got to pay the piper. Everybody's got to pay these bills, these dues. People complain about insurance. Oh, yeah, it's part of it. It's part of it. We all got to suck it up. How much rent is, or how much their bills are, or how much this is. Like, we get it. We get it. Complaining about it's not going to make it better. Like, it's not. Do something about it. If you want something nicer, go get it. If you don't want to have to complain about how much it costs, I don't know how much it costs to get your lawn mowed these days. Mine's like 50 or 60 bucks, something like that. Like, if 50 or 60 bucks, if you're trying to get a deal on something that costs 50 or 60 bucks, you need to take a step back and look at your circumstances and figure out what got you in this situation. Because you're making it sound like you were in an accident. Like, no, you caused a wreck with your life. Life is not happening to you. Like, the cost of lawn care is not happening to you. Like, being the victim of the cost of an electrician, or the cost of getting your water heater replaced, or the cost of getting an oil change on your car, like, that's not a very good place to play victim. Nobody's going to have sympathy for you when you're the victim of automotive repair. Like, it's part of owning a car. Everybody deals with it. Everybody has that problem. Like, you're not in some special group of things that affect only you and a small number of people. Like, no, these are things that 8 billion people on the planet have to deal with every single day. And the fact that it's never been easier to do it, and it's never been easier to solve that problem, you're not getting any sympathy. At least not from me. Like I said, I say that as somebody that has been in the poor me, why me, feel bad for me, help me mindset. I've been there. So I'm glad I got out, but you're not going to get, and I'm glad people weren't giving me sympathy when I did that. People looked at me like, dude, this guy needs to get his crap together. And I'm glad I did, because I even had a conversation recently this week, or I had a conversation this week with our GM here. And we were talking about, people saying nasty stuff about us online. Even if we do a bad job and we deserve it. I'm not even saying specifically whether they're right or we're right. I'm just saying, even if we do a bad job and we deserve to have somebody say something nasty about us, and they go online and they say it. I told him, I was like, I used to be really quick to say something nasty about somebody, or try to put somebody in their place because I felt like I was right. I told him this week, I was like, you know what? I've got to the point now in my life that I don't even like seeing my name and my face and my picture next to a negative review. I don't even like seeing my name attached to it. So if I'm, for instance, on my Google or my Gmail or whatever, and I'll go back and change it, or I'll delete it. Like, I don't even want to see my name. Again, what at what point am I trying to prove to whatever company or whatever business that I had a bad experience? Who cares? Everybody has a bad experience. That's life. It happens. I see people all the time, and I'm kind of skipping around right now, I know. I see people all the time absolutely ripping fast food restaurants for their order not being correct, or their delivery service not doing a good job, you know, their DoorDash or whatever, like ripping Whataburger because of drive-through lines. I'm just absolutely shredding these people. And I'm just like, what were you expecting when you went there? How high are your expectations for Taco Bell? First of all, who's working at Taco Bell? Usually a bunch of kids, youngsters, learning their way at a workplace, figuring stuff out, learning how to follow rules and make sandwiches and make tacos and make burritos, and how to show up to work on time and tuck in their shirt and sweep and mop, and learning the rules about food handling. And like, they're learning. Like, are your expectations of like a 16-year-old kid working at Taco Bell really that high, that when you get lettuce on your tacos that you're gonna go online and just absolutely destroy them? Like, I mean, seriously, are your expectations that high? Like, for me, at this point, my expectations for Taco Bell are so low that I expect my order to be cold. I expect it to be wrong. I expect it to be slow. And you know what? I'm gonna eat it anyway. And if I start to eat it and I don't like it, I'm gonna throw it away and I'm gonna leave. And I'm not gonna make a scene, I'm not gonna cause a problem, I'm not gonna make an issue out of it. It happened. And it happens all over the world, all the time. And I cannot anymore put my name next to something so nasty and so hateful that I have to spew on Taco Bell. Like, it's just bizarre. It's bizarre. And gotta watch my time here. So I know I'm jumping all over the place, and I know this is getting random, but set your expectations on something that matters, something that's important, and it's odd that you have higher expectations for a 16-year-old at Taco Bell than you do for yourself. Like, get out there and do something with your life. Get out there and do something with yourself. And the reason why I say that is because the people that are out there getting something done, and think of it this way, do you think that people, like the people in those houses that I was just describing in Colorado, beautiful, beautiful mansions on the mountain, do you think they're leaving bad reviews for people at Taco Bell? Seriously, do you think they have time in their day to leave a bad review for the barista at Starbucks because the way they took their order or they got the wrong cup of coffee? Do you think those people take time out of their day to leave a bad review? Probably not. Probably not. So who are the people that are complaining about things costing an arm or a leg, complaining about Taco Bell, complaining about Whataburger? Man, I'm fired up. I don't know. Like I said, I'm jumping all over the place, but Shane, please, again, this is free advice. It's worth what you paid for it, but find something more valuable in your life to pursue that helps you move the needle, that gets you somewhere, that does something for you. If you think taking a big, hot, steaming dump on Taco Bell online is really your mission and your goal in life, or you think that's really gonna produce the change in the world or produce the change at Taco Bell, like you don't think, I mean, for a second, like, one, that Taco Bell cares? I mean, again, I probably shouldn't be saying Taco Bell, it's not fair to them, but do you really think like Taco Bell's corporate office is gonna come down here and like, what are they gonna do? Like bend this 16-year-old over and spank them and tell them like, hey, you can't put lettuce on this guy's taco? Like, what? It's Taco Bell. They've been in business for decades. Like, you think your rant is gonna move the needle at all? What do you think you're proving, and to who? Like, it's so, let me just say it this way. It's beneath you. It is beneath you to behave that way. And I'm saying this, again, I watched these videos, so I'm saying this to me later. It is beneath you to take the time out of your day to berate or try to put somebody in their place or try to set the record straight and make this person know that you got done wrong in this situation. It is beneath you. Move on with your life. There's bigger fish to fry, which is, you know, another thing that we probably need to take out back and shoot and bury and never say again. But ditch this expression that it costs an arm and a leg. Nobody feels sorry for you. It's absolutely absurd and ridiculous, and it's an absolute disgrace to say that to people that have actually given an arm and a leg for something meaningful and purposeful. So bury that expression. Take it out of your vocabulary. Don't use it, and take a long, hard look in the mirror as to what actually costs an arm and a leg, and what does that actually mean. And stop looking for sympathy. I'm just telling you right now, stop looking for sympathy. You're not going to get it. And the people that will give it to you are not the people you want in your life, I promise you. If you are complaining about Taco Bell and you do get the attention that you want from this, and you do get a huddle of people around you that dogpile on Taco Bell, those are not the people that you want in your life. Those are not the people that are going to get you where you can stop complaining about Taco Bell. They're not going to get you to a place where you can stop saying, I need to find a plumber that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. These are not the right people, I promise you. And they're definitely not going to help you get that house in the mountains or that house on the beach or whatever. Because those people, the people with the house on the beach, the people with the house on the mountain, are not taking a big steamer on Taco Bell employees. They're not. They probably don't even eat at Taco Bell. But that's a whole other conversation. We won't even go there today. But I tell you, if they do eat at Taco Bell, they know what to expect because it's Taco Bell. So I don't know where I'm going with this. Like I said, I've been in a mood all week. Been in a mood today. So pardon me if this was ugly or hateful or a rant, but it's hopefully a wake-up call for somebody, at least one person. I hope this is a slap in the face to get you to wake up and let you know that if the only problem you have is money, two things. One, nobody feels sorry for you because most people have money problems. And two, it's never been easier in the history of ever to solve money problems, so nobody feels bad for you. So like Zig Ziglar says, there's plenty of room at the top. So get to the top. You won't have these problems. Put in the work, put in the time, put in the energy, learn what you got to learn, do what you got to do, but quit scraping at the bottom. It sucks. I've been there. I think Zig Ziglar says something else about being broke, and he's been broke and he's been rich, and it's much more comfortable to cry in a Mercedes than it is on a bicycle. So you can understand that having problems with money, yeah, everybody's got problems, but having problems with money is way easier than having problems with no money. And you can have problems later, but you need to get your money sorted out. You need to get your money figured out. And until you do that, stop looking for sympathy. Stop trying to get people that see the world the way you do to come sit in a group and sit around a bonfire and just take shots at people that aren't going to change or aren't going to be different, and quit trying to change the world from the bottom. Like, crawl out of the dumpster, crawl out of the gutter, fix yourself, dust yourself off, start looking for people that can really help you move the needle in your life. And I promise you it won't take near as long as you think, but get after it, put in the work, put in the time, put in the energy, get off the bottom, quit scraping the bottom. You can do it. Millions of people have done it across the history of Everdom, in every city, in every state, in every country, in millions of different ways. It's been done. So if it's been done, you can do it, and it's never been easier. So ditch the excuses. I'll quit rambling now, but remember, it's free advice. It's worth what you paid for it, but quit the excuses. I promise you it's a game changer in your life. I promise you, quit making excuses and stop saying, oh, poor, pitiful me, and start saying, why not me? Why not me? I promise you, game changer. Promise. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. Hopefully this wasn't a nasty rant. I love you guys. Please take care of each other. If you want to hear more of something, let me know. If you want to hear less of something, let me know. You guys take care of each other until I talk to you next time. Thanks for the feedback. I love you. Bye.